A mother knows. It's true. Call it intuition, a gut feeling, or sixth sense. This gift can only be explained as a byproduct of a special bond a mother has with her child. We'd like to welcome Vincent Genna, psychic therapist and spiritual teacher who also has a master's in social work. You're a world-renowned psychic, Vincent, and we're so excited to have you here with us because as someone with a profound gift, you do say that mothers do have this intuition that the rest of us don't.
Oh, no, I'm going to have to challenge that idea. And thank you for having me. It's so wonderful to be here, Leyla. Here is the thing. Everyone has intuition, because if we did not, we would have never survived here. So it is about what we know internally that guides us more than externally. Okay, so why this concept and idea that a mother's bond is because she's the only one that has that intuitive connection? Well, since the advent of psychiatry and psychology, notables such as Sigmund Freud and other doctors coined the phrase and the concept of intuition and the understanding. So in their research, they examined why do mothers have this connection? How do they know that something's wrong with their baby? Even when out of the house and grown, I've got to call my son. I've got to call my daughter. I know something's wrong. I know something's happening. So with all of that everybody's been paying attention to, it must be the mother's intuition. But what about the fathers? More importantly then, what about the mothers who never biologically raised or had their children? They adopted their children. So it can't be in the biology, it can't be in the genetics, it can't be in the cells. It has to be something else. Now, here's the greatest thing about that understanding. Yes. Do women have more intuition than men? No. Do they listen to it more than men? Yes. Because that's what they chose to do. A woman's right brain, which we all have a right and a left brain, right, Leyla? We understand that in science. Okay.
I hope I do.
Oh my gosh, as creative and as passionate and emotional as you are, you absolutely have it. And intuitive too, I have to say that. The right brain is the creative, emotional, intuitive, nurturing side. And a woman came in purposely with more attentiveness to that because she would be the one raising the children, bearing the children. And in early days, what did the men do? They were more physical. They left the house. They went out, did hunting, did gathering, brought home the food and the supplies to the families, built the homes, right? That's how it was in the very beginning. Otherwise, we would not have lasted over 11,000 years, right? So it was important for a mother, a woman, to in tune to her own intuition. Now, the father had intuition too. For example, when he was out hunting and gathering, he intuitively knew where to go. He even intuitively knew what to pick and gather to eat, to bring home, because something inside told him that. However,
so it's a different type of intuition, the fact that the mother focuses more on people, whereas the father focuses more on ways of surviving.
That's an excellent point. They have both, but yes, that's what the father winds up putting more attention to, because that was his duty. That was his job, right? Back then. We're understanding a lot more about intuition today because roles have reversed, things have changed. Fathers are home, mothers are out working, and guess what? The fathers have just as much, and they've developed just as much intuition as the mother has. And it's fun to see the growth, but we did it that way purposely. Now, the left brain is more about thinking, the intellect, taking risk, courage, and strength in that way. Now, that's not to say that women don't have that part.
Sure.
So therefore, if they have that part, you know that men have the right brain part too.
Right. We bring different things to the table. Well, Vincent, this is a great place to take a break. When we come back, I'd like to learn a little bit more about you and your psychic abilities and how those got developed. So we're going to do that in 2 minutes. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. We've been chatting with Vincent Genna. He's a world-renowned psychic therapist who's been talking about a mother's intuition. But you, sir, you have a profound gift yourself that many of us do lack, because you have the ability to communicate with the other side. I'd like to learn more about how you developed this skill and when you first recognized that you had this gift.
Wow. It was really thrust upon me, Leyla. It wasn't something that I came slowly to recognize. And it happened about 28 years, well, I was 28 years old, and there was a friend of mine who was in a desperate need for some kind of emotional help because his life was basically falling apart. But he was one of those people that would not reach out for any kind of help. And I felt that somehow. Now, just to give a background before then, I was a professional singer, actor, and dancer. That's all I cared about in my life. I had talents very young. As a matter of fact, they helped me survive during tormenting years when I was growing up, and that's all I cared about. So as far as helping, intuition, psychicness, oh my gosh, they were all loony people from California. That's all I knew back then, right? This is like, because that's what you heard, all these people were, and they all lived in California. So when I saw that my friend was going through this trouble and I had no means of helping him, it was after spending a weekend with him that my wife and I are driving home. He was living in Connecticut in a very, upper class condo, right? And his whole life, he would just brag about how successful it was and how loving his wife was and 3 children and oh my gosh, all of this. And I kept hearing something different. So it was actually a cry out to God, and it was literally a cry. I was crying in the car because I felt my heart breaking for him. And I was asking, I need an ability to be able to help him. Give me something. Give me some tools. I don't know how to help this man or others like him. And it was within a week's time, even Steven Spielberg would have been proud of the epic adventure I went through and would have made a movie from it. It was crazy, Leyla. It was about paranormal things happening, spirits coming in, me being introduced to psychics, all of a sudden knowledge falling into my head, then coming out of my mouth. I was trancing, as people would say in my field, another voice, another spirit, or a higher part of me. And this wisdom and understanding, profound understanding, just kept coming to me. That's how the psychic ability started. And then from there, it kept developing. So now I started talking with dead people. They were appearing. Then years later, I'm talking with animals. Animals are talking to me.
Did that scare you?
Oh my gosh, yes. I can talk to all kinds of animals. As a matter of fact, I just recently had a reading with a rooster.
You've heard it and seen it all. Let me ask you, Vincent, how do people get in touch with you?
All they have to do is go to my website at VincentGenna.com, and that's with a G-E-N-N-A, and they can link up with me all those different ways that are on there.
And you also have a radio show, Stopping Yourself, so we're going to tune into that as well. Thank you so much for tuning in to the world and the paranormal and the metaphysical. Vincent, it's been a pleasure.
Thanks so much for having me today. I appreciate it, Leyla.
We're back after this.